We are back with another Transits Fridays, and we're gonna have a look at the intensity of this week. This is a particular intense week because we have Pluto and the Sun conjoined in Aquarius. So it's the first of many conjunctions that are going to be happening throughout the years while Pluto is transiting Aquarius, but it's the first one. So there is something relevant here of this new flavor. We've been having obviously Sun Pluto conjunctions in Capricorn, so this is the first one in Aquarius. And there are also a couple of other aspects which I think are very reflective of a powerful week. So we have Saturn and Venus conjoined in Pisces, and we also will be experiencing Mercury in opposition to Mars. So the saga of Mars retrograde in Cancer continues. So we are having more opportunities to reflect, review, deal with it, go inwards, etc., and see what our relationship with the inner warrior is. So this is the chart for today. Obviously, Friday, the 17th of January. Here we have Mars retrograde at 25. And in particular, I think for the highly sensitives and empaths out there, this is an intense week around us. Around us, as in, like, people will be feeling this intensity as well. So it's wonderful to step into this weekend already with the mindset of practicing extra self-care. I think the antidote for a lot of the intensity that we might encounter during this week is double down on self-care, on being gentle with yourself, on nurturing your own needs, etc. Making sure that you're checking in with yourself throughout the week, in whichever situation you may find yourself, because that Mercury Mars opposition, for example, is a classic placement for argumentative situations or, angry words, frustration in the communication, etc. And if that's transiting your sixth house, right, your sixth and your 12th house, then you might experience that through co-workers or through clients, or you might experience that in a family, like we have in this chart, Mars retrograde in the fourth house. So really, it's really important to anchor that and to keep that in mind by practicing that extra time for yourself, that extra time for meditation, for spiritual practices that will get you balanced, be a walking nature, whatever it is. I think this week is a very important one to take that very, very seriously. All right. Now, the weekend really is the run to these aspects and placements that I just shared with you. So we've got Venus and Saturn already very, very close together. It's not really exact yet, but they're really in a very powerful conjunction already. The conjunction will perfect on Sunday. Again, obviously, depending where you are in the world, etc. But the conjunction between Saturn and Venus will be perfecting during this weekend. Now, this first aspect here is asking us to become very serious about our values, right? What are your values? What is your relationship to yourself as well? The self-worth, where are you at with that, and I think valid questions here for the Pisces Virgo axis, right? We've got that Pisces Virgo lunar nodes now. It's really to ask about service in terms of overly identifying with it. Are we overly identifying with what we are offering to people, with what we are doing to other people, with how we're helping other people, right? Is it how we get our sense of self-worth? Is it any way that we can work a little bit deeper in that sense of self-worth and gain a stronger sense of identity regardless of what we're doing? And this is one of the key elements, or one of the key flavors for that North Node in Pisces. And I am preparing that video. I have written tons and tons of information already about the lunar nodes, and I really want to do a very in-depth video, which will be coming out this week, I believe. And one of the key themes there is really that sense of being overly identified with that, with a profession, with a service, with a role, with a job. And so that Saturn Venus can be bringing some of these questions for us during this conjunction on, self-reflect on how you're doing with that, how you're dealing with that, where you're at with your sense of self-worth, with your sense of self-acceptance, with self-compassion, with, really embracing who you are and what you're made of, right? I think that's very important. It's a wonderful time to get more solid in regarding to the things that you love, in regarding to love relationships as well, but from a more Piscean flavor. So we're talking about depth of intimacy and emotional intimacy that we're talking about here. The sense of interconnection, the knowing without knowing, which is, the sort of Piscean flavor as well. The psychic abilities can be really channeled into something tangible as well. Give shape and form to the things that you love that are connected to spirituality in the other realms. I think this is a wonderful time to do that. And yes, as a potential struggles here can be in wounds being activated, wounds connected to that sense of emptiness there, or the lack of self-worth, or the lack of self-esteem. We might be shown those feelings might be brewing and become a little bit more intense. In particular, because we are also going to have the Sun-Pluto conjunction right after. So we're definitely digging deeper and doing a little bit of shadow work this week as well. So Mercury is in sextile to Venus Saturn here at 16 degrees. So I think that could facilitate the understanding and the channeling of ideas here. And on the 20th of January, that's the beginning of Aquarius season. So that's when the sun moves to Aquarius and immediately starts forming this conjunction with Pluto, which is one of the key aspects that we're gonna see this week. It was one of the key flavors that we're gonna be experiencing, that we're gonna be immersed in. And like I said before, is the first conjunction of many to come of Sun Pluto, right? Throughout this many years that Pluto will be in Aquarius. And the sun, it shines a light on something. It really puts a spotlight on whichever planet that the sun is conjoining. So in this case, obviously, it's Pluto. And we can really see with a lot of clarity, we can experience the darker side of life that Pluto represents in regarding to Aquarius, right? We can have a little snapshot this week during that conjunction between the Sun and Pluto of the potential themes that these Pluto and Aquarius will be bringing to us to deal with. And Pluto and Aquarius has a huge range of, artificial intelligence, technology, communities, diversity, friendships, like-minded people, causes as well, etc. So we're definitely gonna have a little taster of what our personal journey with Pluto in Aquarius now can be about. Because it's such a long transit as well, this could be just a small snapshot of one of the themes, one of the major flavors that we will start experiencing and dealing with as well. So it's a wonderful time, it's a wonderful couple of days. Here we are, the perfected conjunction on the 21st, to keep your eyes peeled, to keep aware of the things that happen around you, the things that happen around us, really, that can be showing us some of the things that we will be invited to work on, that we're going to be called upon, right? Obviously, there can be tension. There can be tension around us. There can be power struggles around us. We can really be seeing a lot of that. So again, really important to practice that self-care. I'm going to be reminding you again and again. It's a very important week for that, for really looking within, spending time with yourself, um, observing what's happening around you without getting overly involved as well. I think um, that's a good, that's a good advice here, right? If it's really not something that you absolutely need to get involved in, right? Especially with the next aspect coming in, which is Mercury in opposition to Mars. So you can see here on Thursday, Mercury is at 22, Mars is at 23. So it's really there as well. Moon is already in Scorpio as well, for Wednesday and Thursday. So there might be intensity of emotions, intensity of disagreements, um, communication that feels blocked somehow. So, as I was saying before, with Mars and Cancer, they really watered yourself, look after yourself, nurture what you need, bring that into life. Make sure that you're stepping into that world, into that um, solidity, because that's going to be really valuable and really important for us to navigate these energies. And as usual, obviously, as well, the Pluto energy, because it's under the spotlight with the sun there, it can be a very transformative week as well. And there can be a lot of transformations happening around us. And in particular, where is Pluto in your chart? Where is Pluto by transit right now? Where do you have the early degrees of Aquarius? Because that area will be highlighted this week as well. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I want to keep short and sweet. But I'll be back next week, next Friday, the 24th, with more insights. And hopefully, I'll also be coming back this week earlier, the first few days of next week, to bring you some insights about the lunar nodes as well. So I'm going to be bringing that video, hopefully, and there's going to be a longer video, you can watch more, and it will be very insightful for people that have that lunar position, the lunar nodes position in a birth chart as well. So North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo as well. So that's it. I will be back next week. So take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget the self-care practice this week. Intense week. And I'll see you all next week. Mwah. Lots of love. Bye.